Hey everybody, Jeff Simon here from SocialFlight. I'm here at NBAA, the National Business Aircraft Association's event here in Las Vegas, Nevada. And it's a couple days that I'm going to be here at the show. Just want to take you on a quick tour, talk to a couple people along the way. Let's take a look. It's such a cool show and nice to see people together, of course. This side of aviation is really, really impressive. Obviously, Dassault and the Falcon 10X. Earlier today, Honda announced a brand new jet from them, so that is amazing. And you get to see some of the largest companies around with some amazing, amazing hardware that many General Aviation pilots aspire to someday, but either way we can appreciate it, whether it's a Cub or whether it is a Boeing business jet, which of course they're also promoting here at the show. Just giving you an idea what it's like to walk around this show. One of the things that's very well represented here at NBAA, of course, are all the companies that support mainly jet aircraft, since that's the majority of the business aircraft out there. And so you've got FBOs and fueling companies and companies that do maintenance and interior work and paint and all sorts of things like that. And of course, all of the FBOs along the way. And our friends here coming up at Avidyne as well. So very cool, just kind of a quick walkthrough of some of the things here at NBAA. Let's go talk to some people. I'm here with JJ Frigge from Hartford Propeller. How are you doing, JJ?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Listen, I love all of the things that are happening at Hartford. I mean, it seems like it's just everything's going forward with the composite props, the navigator that we're going to be using on our Bonanza. We're going to be switching over to that. First time we're talking about that as well. It just seems like even though the pandemic has been hitting every company in aviation, it seems like Hartzell's really pushing through that and continuing to invest and coming out with some really amazing things. Tell me a little bit about what's going on at Hartzell.
Yeah, so as you mentioned, the pandemic is obviously still here, and we're dealing with some supply chain challenges. We're dealing with some manpower challenges, trying to get more people hired and trained, and making sure we're doing everything to keep our workforce healthy. But at the same time, we're continuing to invest in both our engineering and R&D, as well as in our manufacturing processes and production capabilities. So it's been a very, very, I would say, dynamic and sort of uncharted last couple years. But we're certainly excited about the innovation that we're bringing forward and what we have in the pipeline. So yeah, it's good.
One of the things that really, I have to say, impressed me is everybody's having challenges with supply chain, as you said. There's no question about it. But in spite of that, you're still offering promotions. I mean, you're still supporting general aviation organizations like the Recreational Aviation Foundation, and the RAF. You've got a promotion going on right now with $1,000 off of a propeller for RAF members. I think that's really impressive that you're still supporting the industry.
Well, for us, we don't just love propellers. We love general aviation, and we have 25 pilots in our company, and we really have connected with these groups like the RAF and with some aerobatic folks, and we love to fly, and we're excited about the technology we brought to market with with the Navigator on the Bonanza and with the Voyager on the Cessna 180, 185 series, and the Trailblazer, which is a 2 or 3 blade carbon fiber composite for the backcountry. So we're excited, and we want our technology out there. We think we have a good product, and we want the market, to choose us. And so we're happy to partner with the RAF and others to give a discount because, like I said, we're looking to couple up our technology with pilots that are really passionate about flying.
Well, I mean, carbon fiber seems to be the future. It's definitely the future of the investment that you're making at Hartzell. So I'm very, very excited to get the Navigator on our SocialFlight's 836 Bonanza, be flying with that, be flying with the new Governor on there as well. Tell me about the technology that goes into your composite props.
Right, so we use a resin transfer mold carbon fiber, which sounds very sophisticated and very sort of cutting edge, and it is from a material properties and strength and ultimately performance standpoint, but it's also a very manual production process. So it's carbon fiber laid up over a hard foam core that really provides a same amount of strength as an aluminum blade. And then on top of that, we put a mesh erosion screen on it for FOD protection. We put an electroform nickel cobalt lead edge on the front, which is about 10 times stronger than aluminum, to really give it that extra protection for any sort of small nicks or dings that it might get flying in the backcountry or flying off of a strip that might be a little bit dirty. So that's been our composite technology for really the last 25 years, what we call our next gen composite. And it's really proven to be a very robust, very reliable, very good quality product.
Wow. And for people that are coming from aluminum, from traditional aluminum propellers, in General Aviation, sometimes people are a little hesitant, a little worried. Tell me, are there any concerns about maintenance? Where will this still, be able to be maintained by a local shop in some way?
Absolutely. So we take service and support really seriously, and we have a network of about 30 shops around the world that we call Hartzell Recommended, and that means that they get audited every 3 years to our standards for quality and service, and we make sure that we're trying to funnel local users to those RSFs because we want to shorten your downtime. We want to keep folks in the air, and we want to keep them flying. So we really source local aircraft and local owners to those markets, and they get top-notch quality and support from those recommended service facilities all over the world.
Excellent.
And they do both our aluminum and our composite, and they're able to do some pretty significant repairs at those facilities.
Well, I'm excited to see it. I can't wait. I mean, certainly when we originally saw it on Adrian's Bonanza that traveled around the world, I have to tell you, obviously, performance, latest technology, things like that.
Yeah.
It's also a really sexy looking propeller, so I'm not going to lie. Yeah. It's going to look really good on the plane.
Yeah, I think so as well. The carbon fiber, it costs a little more up front, but you get the long-term value with unlimited life blades. And like you mentioned, you get some ramp appeal for sure, and you ultimately get better performance, a little bit lighter weight. So it's a pretty nice combination. Excellent.
Well, thank you so much for obviously being here at NBAA, taking some time out to talk to us here at SocialFlight, and just wish you the best, and looking forward to coming, hopefully we'll be displaying that at Southern Fun, so we'll see.
Sounds great. Take care.
All right, take care.
All right.
We're going to get to meet Rob Riggle now. So cool. Can't wait to do this. Jeff Simon for SocialFlight. Just want to say hi.
Oh, okay.
If I get the camera right. There we go. Rob Riggle, thank you so much. I just appreciate the opportunity to meet you.
This is weird. This is the weirdest. Wow, you're like a one-man studio. This is really cool.
It's the way you got to be,
Man, we live in a great world.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you. How cool was that? Getting to meet Rob Riggle here at NBAA in Las Vegas. Let's go around the show and keep meeting new and cool people. I'm here at Whelan Aerospace Technologies here with Matt Dondino. How are you doing, Matt?
Good.
So I'm excited because we're using Whelan technology on all of the lighting that's going on our T51 Mustang, and you have a new landing and taxi light that we're upgrading to that's going to just blow away what we're doing on the Bonanza and also on the Mustang. Can you tell me about it?
Absolutely. So our latest light that we've got is our G3 series. And the G3 series, basically, compared to our previous base model light, is actually 2.5 times brighter with the output on the landing light than the existing is.
And that's the Prometheus, right? Because that's what I'm used to.
Prometheus Plus. And
Prometheus Plus.
So the G3 is actually our new base model light, or standard model. But it is not just a base model. It's very, very bright. It only uses 8 LEDs. It's got very low current draw, but we are, again, 2.5 times brighter than that existing light.
Wow.
So it's been a very interesting one for us. We released it at at Oshkosh, and it sold out in 2 days from all of our inventory.
Wow, I remember that's when we first started talking about it.
We did.
And you were explaining to me at the time that it's not just about the lumens, it's about delivering it.
Correct.
It's not just the power of light, but it's how far does it actually go down the runway.
Correct. So there's a lot of different terms that get thrown around in aviation, and especially with lighting. And some of it is, we'll say, snake oil, and some of it is how you market things the right way. But the real reason that people get confused is there's a lot of terms that kind of mean similar things. There's lumens, there's lux, and there's candle power, or candela.
Okay.
Lumens is the measure of capacity or capability of light.
Okay.
So if I take any light and I want to light up a big area and big room, I want a lot of lumens because it'll put light in all directions. Now when I can take that light and harness it and focus it, that's candle power. Now that's a landing light, right?
Okay.
I want to get as much light as I can to a certain spot, which is as far ahead of the airplane as I can so I can see the runway.
Yep.
And so as you go through and do that, the way you do it is through optics. And so you take and focus that. So our light compared to a competitor light that has 5 times as many LEDs,
Yep.
4 times as many LEDs, they don't have a real good optical design to harness that and send it down. So they have a lot of lumens, but not a lot of candle power.
Yep.
Ours, we get a lot of candle power, a lot of down runway light, see the deer, see the airplane, see the guy walking across the runway without having to put a bunch of LEDs there just to fill the area.
Right. And I can say from being, again, using Wheel and Aerospace Technologies lighting, the older style,
Sure.
First of all, it makes a big difference. You don't have to worry about if you're still out there using a bulb that can just burn out. That's so common in a lot of aircraft designs. You don't have to worry about that. But I'm excited to see the difference of actually casting that light so much further. So if you're on a real murky night or murky approach, I'm really excited to see this work.
Absolutely, and there's a big difference when you go through. Of course, one of the biggest things is anybody who upgrades from the old incandescents, you're going to see that difference as soon as you flip that light on. That ammeter's not going to move.
Right, that's that too.
it just hangs right where it's at. So that's a huge difference from the start. The second one is, as you mentioned, we're talking landing and taxi. Now, taxi is not that big of a thing to have a bunch of candela, because we don't want to throw that light that far. What we really want is the beam pattern.
Okay.
So what's different with the G3 taxi light is that thing has a 50-degree plus beam wide. So you have a very large area in front of you that's lit up. And it's the right light for the right operation. Do you want to light that area closed for taxi? Do you want to get your left and right covered? Or do you want to send it down the runway well ahead of when you get there?
Right.
And that's why those are so important, to get the right light for the right job.
Right, and as an A&P, one of the things that I encourage people to think about is that current draw, because with so many avionics coming out, more and more things going in the panel, we really start to stress and tax the budget that we've got coming out of the alternator and battery capacity for the aircraft, where you do see the ammeter, you do start to see pulsing and problems like that. And one of the nice things about upgrading your lighting is you're clawing back some of that capacity for the aircraft. So I think that's really important as well.
Yep, it's 100% more capacity in your lighting system or in your electrical system. The other thing that you get is a lot less weight with a lot new technology.
Yep.
People who are still using the old actual strobe tubes and incandescent lights, there's boxes that are there for power supplies. You switch to newer lights, those come out. So now you got less weight, you got less current draw, and there's a lot less chance that you're going to get noise across your system and things like that. As those strobes are firing, you can always hear them in your headsets.
Right.
You don't hear that anymore.
Absolutely.
It disappeared.
Yeah, well, very cool. Matt, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
I'm glad that we were able to run into each other
Appreciate
here
it.
at NBAA.
Thanks, Jeff.
All right, take care. I'm here at NBAA with Ken Fair of Desser Tire. How are you doing, Ken?
Good. How you doing today, Jeff?
So a lot has happened when it comes to tires over the last 12 to 24 months, right? All of COVID has had a pretty major effect on tires. Tell us about what your impression is of what's happened, what the current status is, and what the average pilot or aircraft owner who's looking for a tire is going to experience now and probably for the next foreseeable future.
There's been as you well know, there's been the global pandemic that disrupted the whole supply chain from airline all the way down to LSA tires. So We're seeing that. We're seeing, especially on the supply side for the sole source tires, or some of the business tires that we're here at this show. There's going to be very scarcity of tires, and what happened is that the manufacturers or so of the OEMs of the tires, transitioned where they weren't doing any airline tires or so. They transitioned to other modes, to over-the-road tires, truck tires, contracts for logistics, and those personnel that were doing the aircraft tires are no longer there to build the tires. So it's been a rough road for the ramp up back to production on some tires, especially sole source.
So as long as, as soon as things started, what you're saying is basically the manufacturers like Goodyear and Michelin started moving people, just basically assuming GA wasn't going to happen and BA wasn't going to happen as much, and the need and the demand was on the road, and now we're stuck without the labor to build those tires.
That's correct. And you look at, you mentioned Goodyear and Michelin, most of their tires are airline related or regional related. So the biz av and the general aviation markets are relatively small for those two manufacturers. So that's exactly what we're seeing. We're seeing some of the pressure now coming back from the airlines, who they have to take care of course. And a lot of those tires are sole source or very scarce right now. The good news on the general aviation side is that there's plenty more manufacturers that you can go to today. Besides Michelin and Goodyear, you have specialty tires, you have Aero Classic, and you've got Dunlop. So you do have other tires that are available for your general aviation aircraft. From your basically what I'm saying is the piston single engines, twin engines to twin engine turboprops.
So someone calls Desser Tire right now with the average general aviation aircraft. Do you have most standard tires in stock, or are they waiting?
So your average general aviation, there are two sizes. There's a nose tire 505, and then there's the main tire 606. That probably covers about 80% of your general aviation.
Except for us Bonanza guys have something a little better.
706. Yeah, right, exactly. So those tires are going to be available. The good news, like I mentioned, the manufacturers. Not only does Michelin make an aviator, they make an air, they make a pilot. So there's three versions of tires that you can get, and the Condor is another one out there. Goodyear has the Flight Special and the Flight Custom. Specialty tires make the Super Hawk, the Air Hawk, the Air Track, and Aero Classic, of course, makes the vintage tires and makes the Aero Trainers. So there are plenty of choices. You might not be able to get the exact brand that you are used to on your buying for your aircraft, but there's other choices where your aircraft's not going to be grounded.
How about for you guys? For your staff's been there, so retreads and things like that are all
retreads
good?
are a possibility. Retreads right now, everybody's seeing the value in the retreads, and not only in the value and the price point, but the wearability of them, because they do wear generally better than a new tire. So that's we've been focusing on getting a lot more casings and putting casings in the process and getting those out the door for the consumers.
Excellent. All right, well, Ken, thank you so much for taking
Jeff.
some time here on SocialFlight. Jeff Simon for SocialFlight here with Ken Fair of Desser Tire. And so tires are available. Prices have gone up a bit. A little hard to find exactly what you want, but the future is bright. It's going to get better.
It is. Thanks a lot.
All right, thanks.
All right, Jeff.
Well, that's it for our experience here at NBAA 2021 here in Las Vegas. I have to tell you, it's just like going back to AirVenture. It is so exciting to see a segment of aviation, in this case business aviation, just booming. It's wonderful. Everyone's thrilled to be back. The entire show was run very safely, and it's just great to see all of this business being done at all the different booths. It just shows that general aviation and business aviation are growing. They're going to be stronger than ever, because the reality is my flight getting out here commercially was challenging, to say the least. Had I been involved in business aviation getting out here, or if I'd flown the Bonanza, I'm sure things would have actually worked out quite a bit better. Until next time, I'm Jeff Simon for SocialFlight. Blue skies.